last video I had my Coke Zero. I got my LaCroix, or like as my dad calls it, LaCroix. Got my LaCroix Pamplemousse. There's a bunch of jokes about LaCroix online. I love LaCroix jokes. LaCroix. I call it LaCroix. It's like, anyway, LaCroix, LaCroix. My dad calls it LaCroix. Pamplemousse. Pamplemousse. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Smells Like. I'm Josh. So good to see ya. I am so excited to talk about Frederic Malle. Les Essentiales, the Essential Collection. This is their Essential Collection for men. They have some curated discovery kits on their website. You get 6 fragrances. This is the one that they've curated for men. There's also one for women. I think both would be worth checking out. I think a lot of them are kind of unisex, but they just tried to curate, kind of one for men and one for women to sell sets. So you take this off, and the back has all the fragrances. You get this little thing with the entire line, with descriptions of all the fragrances that they have in their line as of right now. And then in here, they are 3.5 ml little atomizers, really nifty little dudes. They're, a little bit bigger, kind of like deluxe samples. I think these are the same size as the deluxe samples that they give with purchases. So these are the fragrances that we have. Bigarade Concentré, Monsieur, French Lover, which is also known as Bois de Rage, Geranium pour Monsieur, Musk Ravageur, and Vetiver Extraordinaire. So let me just start by saying that I had always been curious. I've heard about different Frederic Malle fragrances and some of the channels that I really love, and I've been learning a lot about list Malle as one of the best houses. Some other people that I know that I really respect their opinions, like that I've met in Facebook groups and stuff, have said like that Frederic Malle may be the best niche fragrance house. It may be the best. And after trying all of these, I gotta say, they may be onto something. I love every single one of these. There's not a bad one in the mix. There's no duds. I feel like in any discovery set, usually I like about half of them, and the others are okay. Like Bigarade is a great example. You get Bigarade's discovery set. They send you 6 fragrances. I felt like I liked 3 of them, and really maybe only 1 or 2 were like bottle worthy for me. And even at that, kind of not that impressive. Anyway, I'm just gonna go through each of these. I've given all of these a full day's wearing at this point, so I've had this set for about a week now. So let's just dive right in. The first one I want to talk about is Bigarade Concentré. This fragrance is by Jean-Claude Ellena. And if you don't know about the Frederic Malle house, this is a house that is, the whole point is meant to celebrate perfumers, to celebrate their work, and to give them an avenue to really flex their creative muscle. So they're given complete creative control. Like Jean-Claude Ellena, in the past, he worked for Hermes. He would be working with Hermes, and Hermes coming to him and saying, we want a fragrance that kind of does this. And then he'd come with some options, and they'd narrow it down. Okay, we like this, we don't like this. They don't have complete creative control when they work with these houses. Frederic Malle wanted to sort of be the curator for them to create the scents they wanted to create using the materials that they want to create. There's no limit on if there's certain expensive materials that perfumer really wanted to use, they get to use it. Some of these are fragrances that those perfumers have worked on for 10, 15, 20 years in the making, sort of master works of theirs that they had no other avenue of releasing. Some private creations that really weren't meant for any mainstream market that they've had a chance to be released and celebrated through the Frederic Malle collection. So very cool, guys. So let's talk about Bigarade Concentré, Jean-Claude Ellena. This has the quintessential Jean-Claude Ellena fingerprint, his stamp of citrus. It's based on this bitter orange, citrus, and then some spices that give this sort of musky vibe. And this very much has that. It reminds me of other fragrances of his, like Terre d'Hermès, or more specifically Terre d'Hermès Eau Très Fraîche. It kind of is more along the lines of Eau Très Fraîche. It also reminds me a little bit of Voyage de Hermès, just citrus, woods, and spices that create a sort of musk accord. Main notes in this one are bitter orange, spices, there's some green and grassy accords in this, and then woods. It's a very simple fragrance, definitely a spring and summer fragrance. Really amazing citrus in this. It's like an elevated version of some of those citrus and wood fragrances that he's done for Hermès. It also brought to mind Noir Épice from the Hermescence line. So it's that Jean-Claude Ellena trademark, signature approach done in a really kind of elevated way. That it's just gorgeous. It's a gorgeous fragrance. I really enjoyed wearing it. Let's move right along to Monsieur. This one, in contrast to Bigarade, is a little bit more of a cold weather, fall and winter for sure. This one is created by Bruno Jovanovic, and it's based around patchouli. So you have this kind of smoky patchouli, almost like a burnt patchouli, that type of patchouli that you have like in the Le Labo patchouli fragrance. Fragrances like that, where you have this kind of almost leathery and almost burnt, charred kind of patchouli. It's got a little bit of that. Not as much as the Le Labo one, but a little bit. This also has incense. It's got some booziness going on, and cedar. In fact, this kind of reminded me a little bit of that Bentley Fermin fragrance, Bentley Fermin Intense that I reviewed a couple of months ago because of the booze, the cedar, and the incense. I think that one has patchouli as well. Almost like maybe they kind of, I don't know if he was part of creating that one too, but they were kind of similar. This, of course, again, kind of a more elevated version of that. Totally classy. This one's pretty strong, I would think, for cold weather. All of these, though, I could see like dressed up, like wearing a suit. These all are going to work. Some of them would work dressed down too, especially some of the fresher ones. But like all of these, I picture are what that perfumer would actually wear. Wearing like a really nice tailored custom suit and smelling like a master perfumer would smell. I feel like that's what these are. So let's move on next to French Lover, created by Pierre Bourdon. Pierre Bourdon, I believe, famous for creating cool water. It's also rumored that he has created many of the Creed fragrances. And this one I could see a little bit of that Creed thing, a little bit of that fresh Creed thing. French Lover is built around Angelica. So Angelica is very green, sort of bitter, fresh, herbal. This also has vetiver, galbanum, which is also very green and sort of bitter and fresh, cedar, some spices, some mossy accords, and then musk. There is such an amazing musk in French Lover, also known as Bois de Rage. This is like, maybe it's hard to pick a favorite out of these, but this one is definitely at the top. Like this is in the top 2 or top 3 for me in terms of ones that like I need a bottle of soon. I actually wore this while I was wearing a suit, and it was just perfect. Like springtime gray suit, like a light gray suit or like a navy blue suit. This is just so classy, so polished. And unique. You have so you have a fragrance with some vetiver and some woods and some spices and some musk. Well, you've smelled fragrances like that a million times, but this has some magic in it that sets it's a cut above other fragrances that have tried to do similar things. And I also think it's interesting that Angelica was used. It seems like an interesting note for a perfumer to use. Next on down the line is Geranium pour Monsieur. This one is created by Dominique Ropion. This one based around notes, of course, of geranium. But then you've got a pretty big mint note. Star anise, musk, sandalwood, spices, and incense, among other things. There's a lot going on in this one. This one is very much like a spring breath of fresh air, and I wore it. We're starting to have some nice kind of sunny, crisp spring days where I live, and this fit perfectly, like a spring day off, you know, kind of lounging around and enjoying the springtime. The mint in this I could see could turn some people off. In fact, there's a lot about this that I think could turn some people off because it's very unique. The mint is up front. The geranium is done in kind of a weird, like very watery, but also kind of murky, almost like murky, like river water. Like, so it's fresh and it's watery, but there's a little bit of dirt in it. Like there's a little bit of grit, you know, in the stream. And it really is just interesting. It really evolves on the skin. So this is another one that I'm sort of enamored with. It's so strange and wonderful. Geranium, you know, I never would think of geranium as being that interesting of a note, but the way that it's done in this, it kind of blows my mind. It's just, that's another one that really sticks out as one that I really want to wear a lot more and see if that's one that I want to get a bottle of. These are so pricey that it's like, you really need to know that you love these before you get a bottle. This set alone is $85 on their website, just so you know. If you're thinking about ordering one, you know, so pretty pricey for a discovery set, but honestly, totally worth it in my opinion. This has been so fun getting to know these scents. And they're big enough that you can wear them. You know, I've given all of these a full wearing, and that's how much is gone from all of them, just a little bit off the top. So I'll get a few wearings out of each one. Hey, let's jump into the next one. This is Musk Ravageur. I don't know why I'm showing you. I'm sure you can't. I just did something that I hate when people do. When they try to get the words to show on something that doesn't matter. People do that all the time, like on a little sample or something. They're like, oh, can't see that. Like, who gives a shit of what it, I don't need to see it. I believe you, it's a sample. I don't need to see it. I just did it, but I'm telling you, I hate when people do that, but I just did it. So anyway, hey. Musk Ravageur was created by Maurice Rousseau. Rousseau, I'm not sure. This one has vanilla, cinnamon, musk, of course. There's cloves in this. There's tonka, lavender, woods. There's a lot going on in this. This is a very warm, sexy, sultry, kind of dirty musk. Like, this is some sexy stuff. However, a lot of people have talked about this in the Facebook groups in the past and on reviews and stuff as this being like a really challenging fragrance. Like, this is hard to wear. You know, you're really going to turn people off, or you're really, you know, you kind of smell like, you know, you smell like sex, and that's going to turn some people off. This is so luxurious and velvety. It's vanillic. It's warm. I don't see like what is so scandalous about this. It does have that musk that is a little sultry, a little like dirty, a little bit sexual, but on your skin, this is just it. Like I said, so velvety and warm and enveloping. This is a masterpiece. Like, I already know I'm gonna have to get a bottle of Musk Ravageur. I already know I'm gonna have to get a bottle of French Lover. I may need to get a bottle of Bigarade concentrate. I may need to get a bottle of Geranium for Monsieur. I mean, it's just, so it's a whole new world of stuff, you know, that is super expensive to add to the list. So let's wrap it up with the last fragrance from the set. This is Vetiver Extraordinaire, and it was created by Dominique Ropion. This, of course, has vetiver, citrus, pink pepper, and woods, among others. I'm not listing all the notes on all of these. I'm just kind of listing a few that stick out to me. This one kind of reminds me a little bit of Chanel Sycamore, the eau de parfum that I have and rave about. And so for that reason, I don't know if this is one that I will need a bottle of very soon. There's others that do things that I don't personally have anything that does that. I feel like I have some fragrance that kind of does this vetiver, sparkly citrus, and vetiver. Pink pepper gives it that sparkle and fizz, and a very fresh green vetiver. A little bit of sweetness in there too from some spices and some other things going on, and then over a woody base. It is a lovely vetiver fragrance, but I think this is the only one that didn't like blow my mind. It's a high quality, great vetiver fragrance. I don't know. It is really good. Don't get me wrong. Saying that it's my least favorite from these is still like it's still saying that it's one of the best fragrances I've ever tried. Like, it just happens to not be my favorite from these 6. Just because I've smelled this one. I've kind of smelled this before, but wow. If you do love vetiver, if you love fragrances like Sycamore and you want something that does that in a little bit of a different way, Vetiver Extraordinaire might be worth checking out. So that's my set that I am so stoked to finally have gotten. I've been looking at this set for months. Literally, I just thought, man, I don't know if I can spend $85 on some samples. Like, I just don't know if I can do it. But if you're on the fence, I recommend doing it. If you're into high-end, French world-class perfumery, I recommend giving this a shot. They also have one that's curated for women. It has some of their more feminine scents, but there are some in there that I want to try that I think I might love too. Portrait of a Lady is included in that, and I know a lot of guys that wear and love that. So just because on their website it's designated as for women, I think those are totally worth trying too, and I plan on trying those as well, like as soon as I can. But at this point, I don't know if I should try more or try to focus on like getting bottles of these. I don't know. It's hard to know. But so Frederic Malle, this is the Essential Collection for men. Really excited to share that one with you, and I would love to hear in the comments, anybody, what are your favorites? If you've tried any from Frederic Malle, I'd love to know some of your faves. Let me know in the comments. If you'd like to spend some time, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'll see you right here at Smells Like Fragrance Channel for another video next time. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.